Hello everyone and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so excited for this one. Today we are unpacking a charming 2023 short bedtime story by Mary P. from Fairylando called The Lazy Lion. Now on the surface, this reads just like a simple fable, right? But as we look closer, we're going to uncover a beautifully structured narrative all about apathy, survival, and the absolutely profound power of compassion.
Right out of the gate, I want you to consider this. Can our greatest enemies actually become our saviors? It's a pretty provocative thought, isn't it? I mean, we spend so much of our lives categorizing people, and in the animal kingdom categorizing species, into friends and foes. But what happens when the very group you are conditioned to view as an adversary is the only one standing between you and complete disaster? Keep this question right in the back of your mind, because it sets the perfect stage for the central theme we're about to explore.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Two very different brothers.
So we start our story in a faraway wilderness, and right away we see a stark contrast between two sibling lion cubs. First up, there's the wild brother. The source material describes him as super playful and observant. He's the type of cub who practically shadows his mother everywhere, watching her hunt, actively learning how to be brave. He is deeply, deeply engaged with his world. But then, in sharp contrast, we have the lazy brother. His entire existence is basically defined by apathy. He is sleepy, entirely dependent, and perfectly content to just lie around and wait for his mom to bring him food. He literally lacks all the curiosity and drive of his sibling.
Well, adulthood inevitably arrives, and for these young lions, that meant leaving the den to build their own independent packs. For the wild brother, this was just a natural progression. He completely embraced the responsibility, found a lioness, and proudly started raising his own cubs. But for the lazy brother, this milestone was a harsh, terrifying reality check. He had completely failed to prepare for his own survival.
Section 2. The Consequences of Laziness. The story perfectly captures his mindset. He actually says, "I'm supposed to take care of myself," they say, "but I don't want to do that." Can you believe the sheer exasperation there? Even though he is incredibly hungry, the lazy lion flat out refuses to hunt. Instead of stepping up to the challenge of independence, he just complains. He decides that the effort required to simply stay alive is way too much of a burden, so he chooses to just lie down beneath the nearest tree and sleep.
And this brilliantly illustrates his rapid, self-inflicted decline. Let's look at the timeline here. On day 1, he leaves the den but completely refuses to hunt. By day 2, he wakes up feeling hungry, but because he hasn't eaten anything, he's already too weak to even stand up. By days 3 through 5, we see a complete collapse. He is literally starving to death under a tree, completely immobilized by exhaustion. Now, this wasn't just bad luck. This was a massive crisis manufactured entirely by his own stubbornness.
Section 3. The Hyena Intervention.
Picture this. A pack of hyenas happens to pass by the exact spot where the lion is dying. Now, the text reminds us that hyenas and lions are definitely not fond of each other in the wild. They are classic natural adversaries. So when one curious hyena stops to sniff the unmoving lion and realizes he's sick, the stakes are incredibly high. She actually calls out to her pack for help.
Predictably, the pack's immediate reaction is just pure hesitation, driven by deep-seated prejudice. They exclaim, "But he's a lion! We don't talk to lions!" They literally shout over one another, pointing out the deeply ingrained social boundaries of the wilderness. To them, he isn't a patient in need, he is the enemy. Their first instinct, for sure, is to just let nature take its course.
So the crucial point is when one lone hyena steps up and delivers this incredible defense. Who cares that he's a lion? He's an animal, like us. He's a part of the wild. We can't let him die here. Wow, it's a powerful moment of radical empathy. This single hyena completely cuts through generations of species rivalry and chooses compassion. She recognizes their shared existence in the wild way above their superficial differences as predators. And miraculously, she convinces the entire pack.
Section 4. Healing and Humility.
The hyenas didn't just, drag him to safety and leave. They executed a meticulous, multi-stage level of care. Let's break this down. First, they built a leafy shelter to provide him with some much-needed shade. Second, they actively gathered water, infused it with vitamin-rich herbs, and carefully administered it to him in small doses. Third, they brought him food. And fourth, they actually took turns standing guard over him. This was difficult, exhausting work, but the hyenas resolutely refused to give up on their sworn enemy. Eventually, the lion regains enough strength to finally stand up. He finds himself surrounded by this leafy shelter, a blanket of herbs, and a pack of hyenas.
He is absolutely startled and totally confused. He asks them why on earth they would do this, knowing full well that lions and hyenas don't speak to one another. And the response he gets is just so profound in its simplicity. You were sick, and every animal deserves to heal. This right here is the major turning point for the lion's character. He experiences a massive psychological shift. For the first time, he feels deep, burning shame. He finally understands that his own apathy nearly cost him his life. And what's more, it was his supposed enemies who expended immense effort to give him a second chance. That shame quickly transforms into an overwhelming sense of gratitude.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 5. An unexpected new pack.
Jumping forward in time, that lazy little cub is completely gone. Today, he is a strong, grown animal who proudly takes care of a massive pack. He has his beautiful lioness and his small cubs, just like his brother. But the incredible twist? His dear hyenas are permanently integrated into his pride. They are protected, highly valued members of his own family. He never forgot what they did for him, completely shattering the rules of the wilderness in the process.
So, what does this all mean? The moral of this beautifully crafted story is simply this: you can find true friends in places where you least expect them. The story warns us against the crippling dangers of apathy. Yes, but its true shining message is about overcoming prejudice. It shows us the transformative, absolutely life-saving power of reaching across the aisle, or in this case, the savannah, and leading with compassion instead of bias.
I want to leave you all with this final provocative thought. Where might you find unexpected allies in your own life? If you look past your own preconceptions, your own biases, and the little boxes you've placed people into, who might be standing right there, ready to help you grow? It's a really wonderful question to carry with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this Explainer Focus Learners. Keep exploring, keep an open mind, and I will see you next time.